I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome. Hey, that crept up on me awfully quickly. I didn't even. It's like I didn't even know what was happening there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 595th episode of the Political Spotlight. I cannot believe it. We're just a few episodes away from 600. Holy crap. I cannot even believe it. 600, the big 600. I cannot even believe it. We are getting there. And then, I mean, man, that means we're only 401 episodes away from having 4-digit numbers. Can you believe it? I cannot even believe it. Let's see what Joe Block has to say. At a meeting, the boss told a joke. Everyone on the team laughed except one guy. The boss asked him, "Didn't you understand my joke?" The guy replied, "Oh, I understood it, but I resigned this morning." That's hilarious. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Hey, welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good time. Hope everybody's having a good day. I hope everybody is slowly starting to dig out of the madness that is the weather that we have been experiencing the last couple of days. And let me just tell you, folks, for a moment. Can I just tell you something? Hey, listen, I was right. This was not nearly as bad as everybody let on. I mean, come on, give me a break. It was bad. It was a snowstorm. I mean, you know, it's like a lot of you act like you didn't live through the early 2000s or the early 80s or the blizzard of 78 that we all hear about so frequently. You all act like that wasn't a thing. You act like it snows a couple of inches and everybody goes crazy. I mean, it was a snowstorm, but it didn't stop me from getting out of a driveway that was snowed over, no plowed, and I'm in a regular vehicle with no four-wheel drive. I just went ploop right on out, and away we go. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me to see. I was literally in the store for 2 hours Saturday when there was nothing on the ground. People were preparing. It was worse than COVID. And I was just running around there because everybody else was running around. And every time somebody would come up near me and we'd be talking, I'd be like, it's the end of the world. And then we would laugh. And I would be like, see, these people in here, man. It's crazy. It's absolutely, absolutely crazy what's going on. So that's my gripe. Hey, before we get into the politics and everything, I got to ask you guys, have any of you been logging on to Facebook either on your mobile phones or on the laptops? And are any of you getting a weird little message, a little box that pops up? Hold on, I want to see if I still have the picture of it. Because if I do, I was going to say something about this the other day, and then I got sidetracked. Oh, it is. I've got it right here. I want to show you this, and I want to ask if any of you, if you guys still want to comment and talk about the snow stuff, you can. You're free. Just because we're moving on, I don't want to get in your way. You guys can still do that. That's no problem. But I do want to move on to this little box because this is something, it's starting to give me a complex. You know those old science experiments that they would have, that the college professors, psychology professors would say, okay, we're going to pick a student, and tomorrow, when anytime you see that student, tell that student that they don't look well. Say, hey, are you feeling okay? You don't look too well. And then by the end of the day, that student will literally act like they don't feel well because it's the power of persuasion. And it's kind of like reverse placebo. Everybody tells this person they look sick. So in their mind, they start feeling sick. You all remember that? You all remember that experiment, or at least hearing of that experiment? That's kind of like what Facebook is doing to me. And I'm going to show you here. Kate, I'm going to send you a picture. Can you put this picture up in the overlays, please, when you get a chance, just at your convenience? And the only reason I'm asking you to do that is because at the same time, I'm also putting up another picture in the overlays. And so I figure we could work together here at the same time, doing two different things at once. Let me see here. So, hey, while we're doing actual work and you guys are just sitting out there getting ready to enjoy this wonderful episode, I would ask that you please kindly, if you would, so kindly, smash that like button. Give us a tickle the old thumb. Thank you, Kate. Smash that like button if you would, so kindly. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. If you're here via Rumble or Twitter or Facebook, thank you. You might consider coming over to YouTube. However, we did sign up to start monetizing on Facebook. So here in just a short little bit, I'm not going to care where you come from, so it's fine with me. Yeah. So, okay, here's the thing, folks. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you this thing. This is really weird what Facebook is doing to me. I feel like Facebook is trying to gaslight me. I think that Facebook is gaslighting me because for the last little bit, anytime I log onto Facebook, I get this. Look at this. It says, Kristopher, can we help? Only you can see this message. If you're going through a difficult time and want support, we'd like to help. Talk to a friend, message or call someone you trust. What if you don't trust anybody? Find ways to support yourself. I'm already doing that. Read suggestions that others have found helpful. Contact a helpline. They can listen and help you work through this. And I clicked on this, and I clicked on this because what happens is it says close. You see that thing that says close down there? If you click close, it only closes it for like a few minutes, and then it pops back up. You actually have to click the X. And so I clicked the X, and then it goes away for like a day. So finally, I clicked on the why am I seeing this, the blue button, and this is what it told me. It said, this is hilarious to me. Facebook, the AI, the Facebook algorithms and the AI, the metaverse, have read through some of your recent posts, and Facebook feels like I am sad and depressed. which is hilarious to me because the only thing I post is politics. And I'm like, I guess if somebody read this, if somebody read my Facebook, I guess it does look sad and depressing because all I post on there is horrible, nasty, gross things because it's all political. I don't post on there happy-go-lucky. I don't use social media like regular people. I use it solely for the show and for politics. So I guess Facebook thinks that I'm suicidal. So I don't know. Well, then that's the other thing. So then here's what happened. I started getting this. This started popping up. Our community standards. These policies come from feedback from people on Facebook and the advice of experts. These policies include different views and beliefs and are especially meant to protect those who might otherwise be overlooked or marginalized. What kind of communist woke bullshit is this? They're trying to talk conservatives into killing themselves and taking care of the marginalized. No, I'm kidding. I want to put this up just for a moment. If we, yes, Brenda, tell them that you're mad as hell and you're not going to take it anymore. That's absolutely. I just want to put this up there. I'm not going to comment about this. I probably will in a couple of days, but I'm not doing it right now because I'm not going to feed into the insanity of it all. I'm just not going to do it. Just not going to do it. Not going to do it. We're not going to do it. But I am going to put this up here just for a couple of quick seconds, and you're free to take what you want away from this. Picture one is the television crews, the media, videoing this horrible scene of this person stabbing this other person. Look, person on the left is the bad guy, and person on the right is the victim, and clearly they're in danger. Okay, but then we got to pull back, and we got to take a look at the bigger picture. And what do we see? Well, what we see is the guy on the left wasn't, in fact, the violent bad guy trying to stab the guy on the right. The guy on the left here was running away from the guy with the knife. And look, don't feed in anything to the left and the right. I don't think this is a left-right picture. It's just where they were. So be cool with that, everybody. But yeah, just to take this in for what it is. This is always something I've always liked. The other one that I didn't put up that I always like too, is the two people that are standing. There's one person standing here and one person standing here, and they're peering down. And one of them's looking at a 6 and the other's looking at a 9. And depending on where you're at, like this guy's looking at the 6 and this guy's looking at the 9. And so, perception and reality. Remember, we used to talk about all that at some point. Seems like a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but I think it's still probably pertinent. So just FYI, just in case that means anything to any of you out there, I don't know that it does. It probably doesn't. But if it does, if it pertains to anything currently going on in life, just remember there's always several sides to each story. This side, and this side, and this side, and this side, and then probably somewhere in there's the truth too. So just remember. All right. So enough of that. Hey, it was a long day. Got my grandparents dug out by hand. Literally, I plowed these people out by hand. It took me hours. No, it didn't. I literally I dialed a phone and I called a guy, and you know what? I want to give him a big, yeah, Charlize, I can understand. What about 6'7", 6'7"? I still haven't figured out what that means, but I do it, so whatever. Anyways, I want to give this guy a shout out, but I haven't asked him if I can. And so I will ask him. Just understand that there is a man out there that does God's work when it's snowing and you're stuck in and you're snowed in. I text this guy. I text him a little like a 8:25 today and asked him if he could help. And he was there by, I don't know, he was there by an hour and a half. 2 hours later, he was there and he had them dug out and everything was great. So I'm going to text him and find out if I can give his name out over the airwaves to give him an attaboy. I generally like to find out if I can do that before I do it because I don't want to dox people. Joe Black. I'll give the shout out to Joe Black. Joe Black gets the credit until we find out if the real person does it. So thank you, Joe Black, for all your hard work today. So a couple of things here before we get into the big meat of the show. I do have an update based off last night's episode. Catherine, if she's still here, maybe she can help because she told me this, but I was only half paying attention. The caucus in Lapel, we've been talking about a caucus. You only have until the 30th. Friday the 30th at 6 or 6:30 to put in your paperwork to the Republican Party chairwoman. If you're so interested in filling that spot, obviously you have to live in Lapel. So that's that till 6 o'clock. So it's till 6 o'clock. And then the caucus will actually take place on Monday the 2nd. Monday the 2nd. So you have until Monday the 2nd. Then the caucus will take place on Monday the 2nd. So that's for the Lapel Town Council. Now, folks, we are winding down. The filing period for this year's 2026 primary election. You only have until it's a week from this Friday. So we have all the rest of this week. You have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then you have the whole next week, Monday the 2nd, Tuesday the 3rd, Wednesday the 4th, Friday or Thursday the 5th, and then Friday the 6th until noon. Now, I have to call tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to call the Indiana Secretary of State's office and find out if they're going to extend it by a day, since a lot of county buildings throughout Indiana, at least East Central and below, were closed. A lot of them were closed today. And so there's a slight possibility that we will have until Monday the 9th. But don't take my word for that. Right now, just go ahead and pretend in your mind that it's noon on Friday the 6th. And so do that. So we will keep you guys up to date on that. So those are a couple of the updates that we talked about last night. And yes, I see people still talking in the chat about paying money for paperwork, election paperwork from clerk's offices. No, do not pay money. If you go to your clerk's office and they want you to pay money, don't pay money. Call Catherine. If you're in Madison County, call me. You can call me if you're anywhere. I will help you fight that. You should not pay. Do not be paying, period. That's insane. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, from there, we'd have some 2026 election stuff that's going to be coming up. But right now, we've got to focus on where we currently are. There is ongoing government to be taken care of, and things are currently going on that we still need to be paying attention to. One of those things would be the upcoming Muncie City Council meeting in February. We have a February Muncie City Council meeting, the first meeting since the last meeting, which that makes a lot of sense. But it's the first meeting from the point where we got new leadership, and the new leadership completely made some crazy changes and decided that things were going to be different at the Muncie City Council meetings. And again, they're going for, what are they going for? They're going for professionalism. They're going for, trying to keep these meetings polite. They're trying to keep these meetings correct. Whatever correct means. They don't want incorrect behavior. They don't want behavior where people might question other people. They want everybody to be nice and polite and quiet and sit down and sedate, and we don't say anything. Just like that. Yeah, right, Kate. They're going to have, it's going to be a meeting very similar to a library. So we're gonna just be talking with our inside voices, and everybody's gonna be cool. Okay? And so that's what they want. Well, so I figured with all of that change in place, yeah, right, Snubblefoot. I figured, and here's the deal. It's always polite until they piss people off. Hell, it's not even not polite when they piss people off. I mean, they piss me off every meeting, and I'm never not polite. I might let them know what I think, and I might stick it to them, but I'm not rude. I'm not violent. I'm not unprofessional. They want compliance. That's absolutely correct. Now, look. They can make me rude. Again, it's like that scene from Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson when Michael Keaton is Bruce Wayne. He's not Batman, he's Bruce Wayne, and he's in Vicky Vale's apartment, and he's getting ready to tell her that he is the Batman, but they are interrupted by the Joker and the Joker's henchmen, and Bruce Wayne is trying to be, calm and cool and collected. But then eventually he's like, all right, I'm going to try to scare these guys off. And so he gets crazy. And that's when he uses the fire poker to smash the stuff into the fire pit. And he's like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And that's kind of like, that's how I feel like I am. Like, I'm calm and cool. But, when they do the things they do, if they're looking to get nuts, I'm down. Who's down to clown? I'm down to clown, and I feel like they have the capability to make me both crazy Bruce Wayne, Batman, and the Joker at the same time if I need to be. But it's always very, very still polite. I'm never rude. Yeah, I promise you I'm the furthest thing from a Democrat. I could tell you things that would turn your hair white. Or if it's white, it could turn it back brown or red or whatever color it wanted to turn you. But yeah, I promise I'm a conservative. I wouldn't say I'm a Republican. No, I will take that back. I'm not a Republican. I'm a constitutionally right-leaning individual. I'm very mad at Republicans. I don't consider myself a Republican per se. But I also don't find myself to be a Democrat either. Yeah, right here. Here we go. Because I feel like there's not enough people that understand what I'm referencing. What I'm referencing when I reference it. Let's do it this way. And I know this is going to get me. I know I'm going to have to. See, this is why you want to watch live, folks, because if you don't watch live, then you don't get to see things like this. And this is what happens at the Muncie. The point of all of this is the next meeting from the last meeting, and the last meeting was pretty insane. So I'll tell you, I've had the Muncie City Council, the Muncie City Facebook page, and the website pulled up to look at the agenda since Friday. And I'll be honest, I have specifically not went to look at it because I was so afraid that I was going to look at this agenda and I was going to see things that I didn't like and it was going to set me off. And so I figured I was going to wait and put as much time between me, the snowstorm, and this agenda. And finally tonight, I couldn't contain it anymore. I figured I needed to look at it. And I bit my finger and I clicked and we did it. I thought, all right, we're going to look at it and it's going to be what it's going to be. And it's either going to drive me insane and I'm going to get crazy or it's not. And so we did it. I looked at it, and ladies and gentlemen, here is the agenda. I always do the show with my eyes closed, almost always. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. The official agenda for the February 2nd Muncie City Council meeting. There is no public hearing, no public hearing. So the meeting will start right on time at 7 p.m. And we go from the date, February 2nd, 2026, to the regular meeting. We go straight into the Pledge of Allegiance. We go into the invocation, the prayer. We then will maybe do a citizen recognition. They haven't done one in 2 meetings. So they'll either do one, and this should be Brandon's time, unless they're just skipping over Brandon. I don't know what they're going to do here, but he's the one that fouled it up. He was supposed to do his in December, but he said he wasn't ready for it. Go figure that. So he asked to push it off until January, but then they didn't do it in January because that was the reorganizational meeting. So Brandon should be up, but time will tell. I don't know what will happen. They will then go into the roll call. We'll see how many of them are there. They're all there. Who knows what will happen. And then we go into the approval of minutes. And now somewhere around in here, I thought we would see citizens' comments or other business. You know what I mean? I figured it would all be here. And I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere on the page. Citizen recognition, roll call. I see all their names, approval of the minutes. We then go into appointments to boards and commissions at council discretion. Beech Grove Cemetery Board, they need 3 appointments. The Edit Building Corporation, they need 1 appointment. And the MITS Board, they need 1 appointment. They then go into committee reports, which I don't think there will be anything. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we go into ordinances previously introduced. Now, this is making me kind of hopeful. All right. So previously introduced ordinances, Ordinance 1-26, and ordinance for additional appropriations for edit. Okay. Keep this in your mind because they're doing something hokey with edit right now. With this and the Board of Works, there's a lot of things going on. We then go into Ordinance 2-26, being a resolution of approval to supplement and amend the text of the City of Muncie subdivisions regulations regarding Article 5, improvements and requirements. Okay. We'll do that. Then we go into Ordinance 3-26, an ordinance of the City of Muncie amending Section 32.39 of the City of Muncie Code of Ordinances, prerequisites and action on ordinance and resolutions. That's what's supposed to fix the problem that Dale Basham found himself in when the administration signed his name to documents that he was not aware of. This was voted on 9-0. 9-0. So I'm hoping that we will again hear 9-0 to pass it. But at the end of the day, I don't care as long as it's 5-4 at least. Now, it needs to pass. It should pass. And we need to just be done with it. But I would think that they're not going to do anything hokey. But it's the Muncie City Council. You never know. I know there's been a lot of pressure for them to not do this for some unknown reason. And the pressure's been coming from the administration. And my question is, why? Why would there be pressure to not vote on this? I mean, I can only think of one reason. Literally, there's only one reason. And that would be to push crap through without the counselor's idea, without the counselor's knowledge, without the counselor's understanding. As Kate said, because they might want to use this idea again. I don't know that I would call it an idea. I might call it a trick, a scam, a con. They might want to use that con again. And yeah, the answer is, yeah, that's literally the only reason to not vote for this. There is no valid reason to vote no on Ordinance 3-26. Zip, zero, none. Well, Alva said it the way that it's really spelled. He's right. We spelled to keep things underhanded wrong. So yeah, you are right, Alva. Next, they go on to Ordinance 4-26, an ordinance fixing the maximum salaries of each and every member of the Muncie Police Department, the City of Muncie, Indiana, for the year 2026. I'm trying to be nice. Then we go into new ordinances, and you will see there are no new ordinances in the month of February. That's not too unheard of. That, I mean, it's early on. Shirley says, well, now they have their majority. That's correct. That's correct. I never let them say that. I don't ever say that. I say there are 4 Democrats. There are 4 Democrats. There are 3 Republicans. And there are 2 trans politicians. Trans Republican Jerry Dishman and trans Republican Brandon Garrett. And so, you know, I guess it's just how opening and accepting the GOP and the Republican Party want to be in Delaware County. I'll put it to you this way. I was talking to 2 Republicans in the last couple of weeks. And I don't out people, but these people aren't sources. They're not people I was talking to as a source. And these two people, as Republicans, said they didn't care about Jerry or Brandon. I was speaking to them in such a way that I was like, well, Jerry and Brandon, and these two individuals said, we don't care about them, that they're not part of us. So like they clearly were outspoken in saying that was just a thing for the council. The council now has the Republicans now have the council. They now have the council. And that's all it was about. They're not going to be treated as Republicans. Once we get into next year's election, they're both going to be primaried. I guarantee it. Their Democrats are going to run against them. They're going to have Republicans run against them. And I would see that we will probably see Jerry Dishman. Jerry Dishman probably won't run for office again. He'll probably be ready to give his seat up, is what I think we'll see there. Brandon, on the other hand, will be stupid enough to think that he's got a chance, and he will run again. And he will, I very, very, very much believe that he will be defeated in the primary. And that'll be that. So, yeah, Stumblefoot, that's this. Gentlemen, what can you say here? The Republicans have those two councilmen by the balls. They are beholden to the party now. Absolutely. And you can tell it. You can tell it each and every time they vote. Brandon doesn't care because Brandon's just doing. Listen, Brandon has always just done what he's been told to do. Whether it was Nora telling him what to do, or now it's Dan and Tim and Basham and Green telling him what to do. So that's all it is. And Roe tells him as well. But they will tell him what to do, and he'll do it. And he does it, and that'll be it, and that'll be that. But then he will think that he actually has it in him to run again, and to me, that'll be absolutely insane. That would absolutely, Stumblefoot, 100%. Oh, yes. Completely. I want to put a pin in this just for 1 second. I see that Kate just asked me a question in our message, and I did get an answer for this for the person, but I feel like we talked about it last night, so I should say it publicly. We did have a viewer, a commenter, ask about the salt situation within the city that somebody saw last night, that a city employee said that we were out, and it was thought that we were out of salt. And that was just a misunderstanding. It wasn't we were out of salt. It was a comment saying that the city street department were out with salt, and they were out at 3 a.m. last night, meaning they were out on the streets working and doing the work. So I did talk. I looked at the comment, and I could clearly see that that's what the comment was we went out last night. Like, we were out at 3 a.m. last night salting the streets. And just to be safe and just to make sure, I did talk to a source on the street department today, and the source said, we've got tons of salt. We're not anywhere close to being out, and everything's good. So, Misty's saying, no, I heard they were out of salt before that. Okay. I get you. I do think that I remember you seeing that in your comments. So at either way, we have plenty of salt, and all is well. So we will definitely be able to make it through the rest of this storm until it melts, and into the next storm. And we're definitely good here, at least in the city of Muncie, for the foreseeable future. So we are good to go. Here they have roadway snow clearing down to a science. Oh yeah, sure. I can imagine that would be like living in like Buffalo, New York, or things like that. Yeah, I can imagine. Now I will say, the places that I were today, I thought that the roads were pretty good. I don't know if people were happy with the streets or not happy with the streets. From what I saw, it looked like the Delaware County Highway Department and the city street departments did a pretty good job. That's just from my opinion, from seeing what I saw where I was. I wasn't down too many secondary roads, but, definitely driving. I mean, the bypass was open. McGalliard, Madison, Walnut, Centennial, Wheeling, even though the mayor didn't look at Wheeling as being a main artery. That's weird to me. I absolutely believe that Wheeling is a main artery. The roads going into and around the hospital were clear, so there may have been people unhappy, but I was not one of those people. I thought that the Muncie City Street Department did a fantastic job. The Delaware County Highway Department did a fantastic job. Hey, Stumblefoot, how was it down your area? How was the roads good, cleared, not cleared? How was it down in there? If you know, I didn't get down in there. I should have drove that way and looked. Oh, see, okay, they were good. So listen, there's people say that I'm negative a lot about what goes on in the city and the county, and I am, because there's not a lot of good things that go on in the city and in the county. Politically speaking, there's not a lot of good things that go on. However, there are a ton of good, hardworking employees just doing the best they can to earn some money and breaking their back and going out and working and doing the best they can, both on the police department, the fire department, the street departments, the people in the offices. And I've got to give it to the street department and to the county highway department today. I feel like they did a really good job throughout this. Even Facebook thinks I'm sad. But no, I want to be clear, because I know that it seems like that I don't ever say anything good about these people, but there are some really shitty people out there working. I will agree. But who are you talking about? Oh, wait a minute. Let me see what Clinton's. I don't even see that comment anymore. Okay. Anyways, well, so I just wanted to. I did want to say about that. I'm glad that Kate brought that up, so I could put that out there, because I wanted to clarify that from last night. Okay, going back to this this agenda. We will go into resolutions 1-25, resolution of approval for the 2025 change to the official zone maps for the city of Muncie, something they do every year in January. It's pretty standard, very easy. They'll do it. It'll be boom, bang, pow. Resolution 2-26. Sorry, I think that's the first time I slipped up. Resolution 1-26. And then resolution 2-26, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Muncie, Indiana, approving the collective bargaining agreement with the FOP, the police. So they've got that done. And then tabled ordinance 2625, being an ordinance to amend the City of Muncie's comprehensive zoning ordinance for the R4 residential zone to the BC community business zone on premises located at 1600 North Wheeling, Muncie, Indiana. So they will do that. And then if you see down here, it says other business. And ladies and gentlemen, other business is where the citizens' concerns public comment has always been. So I will say, as of right now, it looks as if the public comments will be left to the end of the meeting. Now, I don't know. We'll have to see. Any number of things could happen here. Number one, Alva could be absolutely right, and this agenda could be updated and amended at any point between now and 24 hours before the meeting. I could see that happening. No question, I could see that happening. I would be extremely upset if it happened. I could see that happening. And if it happens, we will cover it here the minute that we get a chance to. The other thing is, I could see them leaving it just like this and still saying that when we walk in, public comments will be after the roll call or after the approval of minutes, right before the appointments to boards and commissions, or right before the ordinances previously introduced. I could see them saying that. So we'll have to be on our toes. I'm ready no matter what they do. However they do it, I'm ready to present my facts, the things that I want to say, and the things that I want to bring up. So we will just have to wait and see. I don't know. I was very surprised when I saw other business being at the end of the agenda and there being no changes here. So maybe, just maybe, Jeff Green was actually on the phone call when Tim called me. I don't know that he was. I just have that sneaking suspicion. Or maybe Tim told him about the phone call. Or maybe he just had a revelation come to mind and he realized, hey, I shouldn't be screwing all of this up. Maybe any number of things could happen. We'll have to wait and see. But this makes me feel a little better, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not even optimistic. Alva, they've never had public comment. It's never said public comment. Public comment has always been listed under other business. This Muncie City Council has never had public comment on the agenda. The other business, quote unquote, other business, has always been the heading for public comment. That's the reason I say that. So if you go back and you look at all of the agendas since the 90s, before the 90s, it could be. So it doesn't have to mean that. They don't ever do anything else in other business. Like the other business is specifically left for anything else that's going to be said that's not on the agenda. So it could be that. Time will tell. Time will tell. I don't know. I mean, I'm not giving them an attaboy yet. We will have to see what goes on. But look, it's me being nice and giving Jeff the benefit of the doubt, you know. And if that's the case, then time will be told, and we'll see what happens. Now, I will tell you this: that's not the only thing I'm going to be looking for. I'm also going to be looking for how long he lets people talk, whether he thinks people are going to sign up or not, or give their address or not, these things. And unfortunately, we don't have new ordinances, so we can't test that out. We won't be able to test that out until March if they have new ordinances. Time will tell on that too. So that's that. I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention and let everybody see what the deal was here. Okay. Now let me go back up here because there were a couple of other comments that I wanted to hit as I went back into this. So Joe Black said, when was the next weather report? I meant Dreaming with Dan. Yeah. They normally do those community updates. They normally do those sometime like on Tuesday or Wednesday. So it'll be interesting. Jackie brought up a very good point, and I do agree. Oops, I do agree. She was right. Sorry about that. That was me. Jackie said Muncie Sanitary Department District also assisted with plowing the streets. That they did. So a big shout out to them. That's big. They do get an attaboy and for the assist on that. They're really good about that. They've helped for a long time doing that. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Oh, Alva said they don't have to allow public comment, so they just won't. Look, that's a very real possibility too. I got to thinking about that actually the other day, because I've told them all to check with the public access counselor. But then I said, you also have to understand what literally every other form of government or local form of government does. They all give that. And so to not allow that would be a major, major overstep. That is a real possibility, but I'm not allowing my head to go there. Because that could be real crazy if that's the case. I just don't know. Usually get my street plowed and salted on North McGallard on reserve because of main bus route to Northwind, one lane, no salt this year. Yeah, and I don't really know what way they did what they did this year. Dan made a really big point about saying, like, we're going to be doing the main arteries, and then and only then, when we feel like the main arteries are good to go, then we'll start hitting the secondary. I just feel like I've never really heard them talk so hard about that before. So I don't know what the point of that was, but it is what it is. I don't know. We'll see. Keep us posted. Let me know, Clint, when you feel that the street down there is paved fully through, because while I do think that the street department gets an attaboy for a lot of what they've done in the last couple of days, I know there have been people that have not been happy, and I just feel like when there are people that are not happy, that should be an opportunity for the city employees to talk politely and to try to re-educate, to inform. But we don't ever get that from the City of Muncie employees. We always get smart-ass attitudes. We always get smart-ass posts and comments. And it just is, in my opinion, if Tim and the people, the power that be in Muncie want to talk about professionalism and people doing what they're supposed to be doing, and businesses looking and being embarrassed by how people in the city act, they might want to look at themselves first. They might want to look and see that when they're pointing those fingers out at us, they've got lots and lots and lots of fingers pointing back at them. And I feel like they just don't realize that. And there's a lot of vitriol that citizens get from these public servants simply for asking questions or for having concerns. And it's just a very piss poor way of doing things. So that's I don't know. I hate that. Let's see. I can see Dan ordering no comments at meetings after turned comments off at the city's Facebook. Hey, that's a very real possibility. As David said, low salt due to temperatures below effective range, and that's the big thing. People fight and disagree on. Oh, salt doesn't work at this or that, and I mean, I know there's truth to that. I don't know how the city looks at what they do, or when or how they do whatever it is that they do. That's not my cup of tea. That's not my specialty. I've never been involved with that. But I do know that that is a thing. So, yeah, I don't know what that deal is. Again, I will say wherever I was today, and I was a couple different places throughout the city and the county, I felt the roads looked good. I felt the roads looked fantastic. Fantastic. That might be a little much. I felt the roads were as good as I felt they could be under the circumstances that we were involved in. So from there, let me see. There haven't been any other major big announcements on who's going to be running locally. I know last week, I know that Muncie City Court Judge Amanda Dunnick has filed to run, and she's finally announced that she did file down at the State House. And let's see here. She actually, I don't know if this is going to get me in trouble or not. Let's find out. Let's find out if it gets us in trouble music-wise. I can't recall. Here was a little video that she and her team put together.
Filing for judge is a name you recognize, a name committed to justice and not politics. She has a long history of service. She is already trusted as a judge right here in Muncie. She is fair and experienced. Vote for Amanda Dunnick on May 5th in the primary election because experience matters.
And I will tell you that Judge Dunnick is running against, will be running against, so she's got a primary challenger, and she will be running against Marisol Driscoll, who's a Democrat. They will be running for Circuit Court 5, and then the winner of that race will then take on the Republican winner between, oh no, there's not a winner. It's just, right now it's just Benjamin Freeman. Right now, I'm going to tell you, I don't have a problem with Marisol, but my pick would be Amanda Dunnick. And then between Republican Ben Freeman and Judge Amanda Dunnick, I would go for Amanda Dunnick over Ben Freeman. I just think Ben Freeman is not ready. Ben Freeman has a wild, crazy ass attitude. I am not a big fan of his. And I will be polling for Judge Dunnick in that race. So that's that. I also want to put up a little proof of life here. There's a lot of people that have been wondering what's going on. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you here. This is very important. Let's take a look at this.
Hello, friends. Yes. Proof of life video. It is I, Rob Kendall. Hope you are having a fabulous Monday. And hope you are able to get out on this Monday. Got to start off with a couple things. Number one, I'm pretty proud of myself. I was very dedicated last night. Single-handedly plowed one half of my driveway, the sidewalk, and the porch. And single-handedly plowing one half of my driveway meant that my kid wasn't the only kid who made it to daycare today. That's right. That's some dedication. It took me 3 separate attempts to get one half of the driveway plowed by hand. And then when I got done, it was like that meme of Signetti looking at the first downs. You get done, it looked beautiful. Because I mean, like half the driveway is snow, like 10 inches of snow, and the other half is completely plowed. And I know I did that by hand, and I'm like, it's pretty good. And I told my wife, I said, hey, honey, come look at this. She didn't care at all. But success with that. And the roads, not bad here in Hendricks County. Not bad at all. And it's fascinating because I am hearing how bad the roads are in Indianapolis. And really, roads come down to competency. Building them.
Listen to this and we'll cut it off. Listen here.
Plowing them. Look, leaders of communities, whether it's Indianapolis, Brownsburg, Avon, Greenwood, Fishers, wherever, you really have 4 core responsibilities, whether it's a mayor, if you're a city, or a town council. Number one,
commissioners of the
public
council.
safety, right?
Public safety.
Above all else, public safety is your top priority. Number 2, it is the maintenance of the roads. Number 3,
roads
the snow removal when that happens.
Snow removal.
And number 4, public sanitation, trash for your major metropolitan cities if you have.
That's
those.
all. That's
now,
all.
if you look at the city of Indianapolis and those.
So that's that. Rob Kendall is there. He is alive. I wanted to put this out there. There's a lot of people that have been asking, what's the deal with all of the Rob? Where's Rob? What's going on with Rob? Where's Rob? Where's Rob? Okay. I thought that everybody got this back when this happened. So that's Rob Kendall. He's a host on 93.1 WIBC. He's the driving force, the main man behind, the main host behind the Kendall and Casey show on from 9 to noon, Monday through Friday. This was actually the start of the second week without him being on air. His last day on air was Thursday the 15th. Now, he took off Friday the 16th. I found this out that he actually took off Friday the 16th. However, then he was noticed by his supervisors not to come in on Monday the 19th. He didn't work Monday the 19th, Tuesday the 20th, Wednesday the 21st, Thursday the 22nd, Friday the 23rd, and then, of course, he wasn't there today. And a bunch of his friends, myself included, have been running a bunch of memes and hashtags and the same kind of wording everywhere saying, where is Rob? Where is Rob? Where is Rob? And the thing is, we've got people that have been saying, well, maybe he's sick. Maybe he took vacation. Why don't you call and ask him? And it's shocking to me. Like, I'm aware of where Rob is. I've talked to Rob. I talked to him today. I talked to him yesterday. I talked to him 2 days before that. Like, we talk frequently. Rob and I are friends. Like, I'm aware of what's going on, but I can't say more than what's going on. But this isn't for Rob. We're not trying to locate Rob. We know where Rob is. This is a form of a protest to the higher ups at the radio program. And it's not even bashing Casey, because Casey has a job and she needs to do a job. It's not bashing people who fill in for Rob, because it's not their fault. The station's going to put people on the air. They have a job to do. I'm going to make it clear. Finally, I guess. I thought this was clear the other day. It's a contract issue. There's a contract issue going on. Rob is apparently in a contract negotiation with this new company, and so he's not been on air. What's concerning to me is this is not the first time that Rob has gone through contract negotiations on the radio, 93.1. But generally, when they do it, they keep him on air while they're going through it. It's concerning to me that this new company that they are with, and they did get a new company. That's the reason the station moved. I mean, they've been going through some changes here lately. If people haven't noticed, they're no longer on the circle, and there's a lot of things going on. The Where is Rob hashtag Where is Rob is not for Rob. It's not for Casey. It's for all of the higher ups. If you noticed, I went through and I tagged all of the higher ups. I've sent them all email. I've put their emails out there. hoping that other people will email them, letting them know how much the listeners appreciate Rob. Because I'll be honest, this program, not this program, not the Political Spotlight, but the Kendall and Casey show is the program that Rob built. Rob has pushed this. He's dedicated his life to this radio station. And even if you disagree with him a lot, you disagree with him most of the time, he's done a good job, and he does a good job. And even the people that hate him, like, they tune in and they're like, it's not fun without him. So, we're hoping that they bring Rob back, but I'm of the opinion that Rob could do even better work independently by himself. So he's got options, but if he wants to be back on the radio, I want what he wants for him. I want him back on the radio if that's what he so chooses. But I did want to let people know he's alive. We know he's alive. No, he's not on vacation. No, he didn't get in trouble because he said something. Now, they might not like things that he's doing, and they might not like how hard he's pushing, and that might be a problem with why they've decided to take him off, giving him a little bit of punishment. But if I know Rob is not somebody that's going to censor himself. Rob is not going to stop saying what he thinks or feels. And if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But he's not going to stop just because of that. So I appreciate what he does, and it'll definitely be interesting to see what goes on here, and I'll be interested to see what happens. But I wish the best for him, hope the best for him. But there is life after 93.1 WIBC if that's the situation. And I think Rob will do just as good on his own as Joe says here. He could do just as good as anybody else on the independent circle. Is Soros? No, it's not. It's not Soros. Not this time. But you never know when that could happen. Hey, I do want to go back to Stumblefoot's questions really quickly about what kind of cases does that court handle. Circuit Court, did I say it was Circuit Court 4 or Circuit Court 5? 4 and 5 are both up. So it's Circuit Court 5. It doesn't really matter. So both Circuit Court 4 and Circuit Court 5 handle all cases. They in Delaware County, we don't have the distinction between circuit and superior. There are 6 courts in Delaware County. There are 5 circuit courts, Circuit Court 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we have Muncie City Court. Muncie City Court handles all misdemeanors. So misdemeanor OWI, misdemeanor possession of marijuana, misdemeanor battery, misdemeanor public intoxication, disorderly conduct. All misdemeanors go through Muncie City Court. Circuit Courts 1 through 5 handle all cases. They all handle the exact same cases. They handle civil and criminal. They handle everything happens. Basically how Delaware County's court system goes. And we'll just say this for argument. January 1st of 2026, from midnight on the 1st until 11:59 on the 31st, anything that happens in that month criminally is in Circuit Court 1. And then when the clock strikes 12 on the 1st of February, it switches to Circuit Court 2. And then March is Circuit Court 3. And then April is Circuit Court 4. So that's how it goes. And then when we get to June and Circuit Court 5, and then when it strikes midnight for July, then it goes back to Circuit Court 1, and that's how it goes. And I'm not sure how civil courts go, but I think it's probably pretty much the same. That's how that goes. But they all handle everything, so they all get a good intermixing of everything. It's not like some judges handle this and other judges handle that. They all pretty much do the same thing. Now, they all have their specialties. Like one court does the drug court, and one court does the court for like veterans court and things like that. But for the most part, they all handle everything, general practice. So that does that. The other thing, Misty asked if Dunnick filed as a Democrat or a Republican. She did not switch parties. She is a Democrat. She is an old school Kennedy-crat. She's kind of like Audie, in her belief system like that. She's an Indiana Democrat. It's not like a hardcore progressive New York or California Democrat in that stance, not progressive liberal, I guess. So that's that to answer those questions. Alva says, I enjoyed Rob's 18 minutes on Facebook. I'm sure if he does, WIBC does their programs on YouTube. So I'm sure if something ends up happening and he does not continue with WIBC, I'm sure if he goes forward, he will do something like that. But yeah, and I'll talk about, we need to have him on. I need to have him come on sometime and just go through kind of his story, his origin story, if you will, and have him talk to the listeners about what he thinks is going on, and have him do like an off the rails. That's what he likes to do, Rob off the rails segment on the show, like an hour long, 2 hour long segment with him sometime. We'll have to get him on here to do that. But yeah, that'll be fun. And no, Stumblefoot, I don't think so. I don't think she is. I think not. She's not said that specifically, but just getting an understanding of her and knowing her, I don't think so. She's pretty common sense. Okay. Let's see. I think the last thing that I wanted to talk about was an update, and I just wanted to bring this to everybody's attention. It's been out there for a while, and it's not been something that I've talked about just because we've had other things going on, but somebody did question this a while back, and so I felt like you always get after the circuit court, then it goes it's overridden when it goes back to the first, and the judges agree with the second. You can go federal. Okay, no, now I got to tell you this. Hold on. So let me. Yes, Clinton, I see I understand what you're saying there. Stumblefoot says Rob should or could start his own podcast. He would do better than where he's at. There's a lot of people telling him that currently, and that's a very good possibility. And here's the thing, because I see Alva saying that he would watch the upcoming show. This is what sucks. And maybe I'll talk to Rob about getting it live streamed. So as of now, it's only an in-person show to my knowledge. I have tickets for it. I'm going to go to it. It's going to be at the Mad Hatters in Indianapolis, and it's going to be Kendall and Jason Hammer of the Hammer and Nigel show, and basically, so those people that are from around Indianapolis, you guys probably remember Hammer and Nigel, like from 20 years ago when they were on ZPL and then X103. They were on various different radio stations. They were kind of like the drunken college guys that did like comedy and all of that stuff. Well, now they're kind of like the drunken college guys, but they've grown up kind of, but not really. and they're now on the radio as kind of like those people who now understand that politics is important, and so they approach politics with the same kind of humor they've always had. But they're a very good show. They're on 93.1 WIBC in the afternoons. They're on from like 3 to 7. And if anyone's not in Indy, you can check them out on YouTube. WIBC puts them on YouTube from 3 to 7. It's a great show. They do a good job. They always do beer sample Thursday or beer sample Friday, where they drink different beers on the air, and they have on a good section of guests. They're a little too friendly with the governor. They still have the governor that comes on the show, and I don't really like that, but it is what it is. I'll put it to you this way: I guess allowing the governor to go on their program allows Rob and the other people to hear what he's saying and to have them be able to commentate off what the governor says. So I guess that might be a pro. It is what it is. I wish they would be a little bit harder against the governor, but whatever. But Rob's obviously friends with these guys, and so Jason Hammer, who's a good friend of mine, he is going to be, him and Rob are going to do the show. Hammer is going to come out and do a little bit of comedy, observational comedy and political comedy based around that. He's going to come out and do that. And then Rob's going to come out and do a set like political talk live. And then they're going to come out together and finish it off. Now, it would be very good if they live streamed it. Maybe even if they set it up to where if you can't attend or you're not local, that you could pay a little bit of a fee, $5-10. I mean, the tickets weren't bad that I paid. I think I paid $20 for the ticket. But that's just for the show. I'm going to go a little earlier and hang out. But you could pay a fee and watch the live stream. But I think they ought to do that because they've done a couple of shows like this that's just all been in person stuff, and I think they're really missing out on people that would watch if they had access to it. So I might talk and find out what's going on with that. If they were hard on Braun wouldn't do the show. That is 100% the fact. That is 100% the truth. That's why Braun and Micah no longer will sit down with Rob Kendall on the Kendall and Casey show. That's exactly the absolute truth, and that's gross, and it is what it is. But you are 100% correct. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about here before we got sidetracked with that was something that had occurred. Hold on here a second. I wanted to let's see here. I can't get that to pull up. Let's see here if I can get this to pull up now. Damn it. Stand by here. I had it saved, and now I can't find where I had it saved. And the Star Press, if you've not noticed, the Star Press is very hard to deal with. It's not like intuitive. It's not easy to use here. Let me see here. Didn't know or hadn't heard that Micah married Rob and his wife. Yeah, they were very close. Let's see here. If this... Okay, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, they were very close. And that's why, in my opinion, it's so much worse when you're close to somebody and they end up breaking the promises and the way that you thought they would be. I think it's that much harder. I mean, a bunch of I gave Rob a bunch of hell for his support of Braun and Micah, but it's because he was close with Micah, and then for Micah to act the way Micah has, and Micah to do even Rob the way that he's done him. It's just it's another level of betrayal, other than just being a public servant to a constituent, but it's actually like breaking promises and a bond with a friend, and it's wild, honestly. It's air now. What are you talking about? AIR. What are you talking about? Makes sense why he's supported. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so it's AI, absolutely. That's 1,000%. That is absolutely the problem. So I just wanted to update. This was first posted back on January 21st, and so I've not covered it here, but we did talk a little bit about it. So we when it first started, just the information. I know there's some people that don't read the Star Press or don't get this and don't know. The man that was found burnt in the car. We talked about that a couple times back when it first happened. He was finally identified. He was identified as a Shelbyville man. He was a homicide victim found in a burning car in southern Delaware County. Shelbyville man has been identified as the homicide victim whose body was found in a burning car in Delaware County. Jeff Stanley, chief deputy for the Delaware County Sheriff's Department, currently running for sheriff, announced on Wednesday, January 21st, that DNA tests have confirmed that the body was that of a 58-year-old Michael D. Greer. Greer's body was found on the early morning of December 14th in a burning car found along Delaware County Road 500 South, west of Indiana 3. On January 6th, the 85-year-old Shelbyville's man, Sylvester Bobby Ewell, told the Star Press the victim was Greer. Ewell also said that Greer was his son. 5 Indianapolis residents, Amaris Aponte, 23, Talis Varentino McCoy, 43, Randall Bruce Moon Jr., 40, and Amy Singhas, 43, and Megan Nicole Sloan, 31, have all been arrested and charged with that homicide. The most recent arrest came on January 15th when McCoy was taken into custody with the assistance of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police SWAT and Violent Crimes Unit, Stanley said. A probable cause affidavit has been released after McCoy's arrest, which indicated that Greer had been both shot and beaten. However, court documents have indicated that the victim was still alive when the car was set on fire. 2 of the charges filed on January 2nd against Aponte were murder and arson, according to court documents, and an autopsy revealed that the victim was alive when the fire began, which is just absolutely horrible. In an affidavit, the investigator with the Sheriff's Department wrote that Aponte drove the car to the location where it was found on fire. The 23-year-old Indianapolis man is also charged with aiding, inducing, or causing 4 crimes: murder, kidnapping, criminal confinement, and obstruction of justice. His co-defendants face charges including aiding, inducing, or causing murder, arson, kidnapping, criminal confinement, and obstruction of justice as well. The 5 Indianapolis residents are being held without bond in Delaware County Jail. Aponte, Moon, Singles, Sloan have received trial dates scheduled between May 12th and July 17th in Delaware County Circuit Court 1. Stanley said on Wednesday that investigators had spent countless hours conducting interviews, reviewing evidence, and working alongside the state and local partners to bring clarity to this case and answers to the family. And I have to say, this is a very interesting case. And the fact that they were able to arrest 5 suspects for this case really, in my mind, shows the greatness of the Delaware County Sheriff's Department investigators. There was a time, and there are people in the Sheriff's Department that know this, and this was not too long ago. There was a time when if person A was standing over person B, when the Delaware County Sheriff's Department got there and person A had a gun in their hand and person B was shot dead, and the bullet in person B came from the gun that person A was holding, the Sheriff's Department investigators wouldn't be able to solve that case. There was a time period between like the 70s and the early 90s when it got real sloppy. But in the last 20, 25, 30 years, the Sheriff's Department really pulled it together, and they do a fantastic job. The Muncie Police Department used to be so bad because what would happen is, instead of sending the good people to the detectives division, CID, criminal investigations, that would be like the retirement home, and people were not, they weren't solving crimes. They were going there and just hanging out. And really, MPD, CID, and the investigators on the Delaware County Sheriff's Department are really good investigators now. They're really, 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 really good, and they do a fantastic job. When Stumblefoot says, "I'm curious if the burn victim OD'd or was murdered." Well, I think that the probable cause sheet clears that up. The probable cause sheet. Now, he may have had drugs in him. I'm not saying he didn't, and I'm not saying he wasn't in the process of ODing, but it sounds like he was alive when the car was burnt. So it wasn't like he OD'd and stopped breathing and they burnt him. They're saying he was beaten and he was shot, and when they lit the car on fire, he was alive. And there would be ways to tell that, obviously, through the autopsy, because if he was alive while the car was on fire, he would be breathing in the smoke, the soot. He could be burning his lungs, but if he was dead, he wouldn't be breathing that in, and that wouldn't be in his lungs per se, and a lot of other things going on there. So it sounds like he was alive while the car was being burnt, and that's very unfortunate. The whole thing is unfortunate, and hopefully justice is served here. And I just want to say this was a job very well done by the Delaware County investigators, as well as state police and anyone else involved with this. And I think that this is an absolute fantastic end to this, at least from the police department's standpoint, because they solved this case, which could have been a very difficult case to solve. So they all deserve a round of applause and an attaboy, and we'll see what happens. Now, I want to see what you're saying here. What do you know about the pharmacist charged with drug theft? What do you know about Kristopher H of Yorktown stealing 500 vials a month of hydromorphone? Ooh, Dilaudid. Now that sounds fun. No, I don't know anything about that. I've not heard anything about that. Word about your person. What? I don't understand what you're saying. Word about your person is that he was a pedophile. I am not positive just what is circulating. I have no clue what that even means. Sometimes you write in ways that I'm like, there's no way that this is no way. All right, let me go back now with what you're saying and see. So word about the guy in the, well, look him up. Look, that's very easy. Hold on. Let's I mean, that's not word about it. We'll find it out. It'll be very easy to find that out. Hold on 1 second. Let me see what his name was. Michael D. Greer. Michael D. Greer. Indiana Sex Offender Registry. Let's find out. Looks like it very well could be. Let's see. We have a 2020 Greer v. State Court of Appeals. On August 2009, state charged Greer with numerous offenses, including criminal deviant conduct, a Class B felony. The state also filed repeat sex offender sentencing enhancement. On April 11th, 2011, the parties filed with the trial court a joint motion to enter plea of guilty. In the joint motion, Greer agreed to plead guilty to criminal deviant conduct and to being a repeat sexual offender. In exchange, the state agreed to dismiss remaining charges. All right, let's look it up on my case now. So now listen, you could be a sex offender who is not a child molester. You know, there's other ways to be a sex offender that doesn't necessarily make you a pedophile. Let's find out here. Okay. I found out the state of it. Okay, let's see here. Post-conviction. Okay, look right here. We found it. State of Indiana versus Michael D. Greer. And he was charged with burglary. He was charged with criminal deviant conduct. He was charged as a repeat sex offender, habitual offender, criminal confinement, sexual battery, interference with reporting of a crime, a second charge of sexual battery, and 2 counts of attempted sexual battery. Now, none of this looks like it's against a child. It appears that this was against an adult, but maybe an adult that was incapacitated. I got to get rid of that Rob Kendall. It just keeps looking like I keep looking for Kate down there at the bottom, and all I see is Rob Kendall's just staring at me. It's so weird. All right, thank God. We got rid of Rob Kendall down there. Yeah, this dude definitely didn't sound like a good guy. At the bottom line, I mean, I mean, you can't take the law into your own hands, and we don't generally beat and shoot and burn people who are criminals in the state of Indiana. but it definitely looks a little bit different. I mean, this definitely looks like, was he doing something with one of these people? I don't know. This is going to be an interesting case now that this information is known. This is definitely interesting. Listen, I proved it the other day without a shadow of a doubt that Catherine is not Japanese. I dropped some actual Japanese verbiage on this lady, and none of her family, her 90-some-year-old mother didn't know, or her daughters that have spent 30 years in Japanese linguistics, apparently. I proved that they're Korean the other day, because I said some just pretty standard Japanese, ichni, sanshi, kibadachi, go, roku, sichi, hachi, hajime, and ain't none of these people talking any kind of Japanese that I ain't never heard. They didn't even know hajime, which means start. You tell me you're Japanese and you don't know hajime? There's no way. Who has ever got through Japan and not had to use the word akibadachi, which clearly means horse stance? Every Japanese person that I know in the world knows that akibadachi means horse stance, but not these Japanese people. So I proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are Korean. Stumblefoot. My daughter was assaulted by her boyfriend's dad. Ooh. And she was 18, and his charges were sexual battery and sexual assault. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's, K-Mama, absolutely. But this guy's charges, as I opened them up and we're reading down through, I'll tell you, one of the charges is B felony, criminal deviant conduct to a victim unaware that the conduct was occurring. So I think from what I'm reading here, I don't see anything about young children, but I think that one of the victims was incapacitated, or at least was incapacitated. So what I'll do is I'll try to, I will, this was from 2009. I will send a record down to the Shelbyville clerk and get the probable cause affidavit. But yeah, so it looks like, I mean, it's not like this guy was just floating along minding his own business, and got victimized. As we oftentimes say here, a lot of times today's victims were yesterday's bad guys, and today's bad guys are going to be tomorrow's victims, and vice versa. That generally is what happens. It does happen that good, law-abiding citizens become victims, but a lot of times it's like a cycle. Victims become witnesses, and witnesses become defendants. Defendants become victims. It's just kind of they do that a little bit. Let me see, Alva, an answer to your question, a question to your answer, an answer to your question. Let's see if I can find out. Dude, what? So he was on probation. He just got off probation last year. His probation was terminated. His probation was terminated on Halloween of 2024. So he was in prison and it looks like he requested a modification. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what's said here, what happens. Is this a situation now? Now, listen, I'm just talking completely out of my ass here. Is this a situation where what you guys are saying, somebody was waiting on him to be released and they were old victims or family of victims? Or is this a situation where this person gets out and he's living in a halfway house? He's living in an area with other people who are out of jail, and he gets in with the crowd and they find out his story and they do something. There's any number of things could happen here. I'll look into this. We'll see what goes on. This will definitely be an interesting case to follow and see what comes of this. I don't know. Maybe somebody could write Dick Wolf and we could find it on Law and Order coming up. Who knows? So that's very interesting. And this was just going to be something kind of in passing. I just mentioned to let you guys know that, hey, he was named whatever. And then now look what we come of it out. That's interesting. Okay, well, that's going to do it here, folks. I'll dig into this and see what I can find. This is not really up our alley here. I'm interested because of my past life, but in law enforcement. But we'll look in here and see what goes on. And see what we can find and let everybody know. Other than that, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for participating. Please share the show with everyone you know. We will hopefully tomorrow have the 911 tape. It's going to be Tuesday. Hopefully everybody's open tomorrow. They've had plenty enough time to get somebody, for the love of God, Henry County. So tomorrow, hopefully, we'll have a 911 tape to listen to, and we'll have information on when we'll be able to get the other videos. So you guys say a prayer, keep your fingers crossed, and we'll let you know. We'll see you back here, God willing, tomorrow at 9 p.m. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Stay warm. Take care. Be safe. God bless. And good night.